Welcome back, everybody. Save the bees, we just saw right there. We're going to talk about beekeeping. We have Keri Kenoyer joining us and Doyle Kincy. Keri's my neighbor out in Madison County, and they're both with the Iowa Honey Producers Association. So they're going to share with us just some great information on beekeeping and things that have gone along with it. And I'm going to start with you and just talk about you guys got started. You and your husband Eric got started in this a few years ago. Just kind of as a backyard hobby.
Yes, just a hobby. Yep, something he wanted to do in his spare time.
And how did he get introduced to it?
He, he was the start of our honey journey, and it started one afternoon when he was helping his brother cut down a maple tree, and it happened to have a feral hive inside.
Oh.
Okay. Explain what that is for people that might not realize.
A feral hive is a wild hive that lives out on its own.
Okay. It's not
trees and
right. Okay, so then
naturally occurring.
So the hive, obviously, with all the bees that were inside the hive, what did he decide to save some of the bees, or what was the deal?
He tried to save some of them. Didn't quite work out that time, but yes, we tried to save some of the bees. We saved a lot of the honey and a lot of the comb that time. But it kind of triggered that, hey, I think I'm interested in this. And so we started doing a lot of research by reading books. He found the Honey Producers website, found a lot of local clubs, and joined a bunch of the clubs, and then eventually took some classes, and that began our journey.
Yeah, because he started with just a couple of hives.
And
then,
hives.
I mean, because he rapidly grew.
Yep, he started splitting and adding, and yes, so right now we're up to 12 right now.
12 hives. Now,
12
you
hives.
started with just a couple, you said?
Yes, just
now,
a
is
couple.
that what, do you recommend starting with a couple, or can you start with as little as one, or is this be a question that Doyle might be able to
Well,
answer?
we recommend in our classes to start with two, because that kind of gives you an ability to compare the two if one's not doing as well as the other, and so you got something to compare one with.
Okay, you can gauge yourself.
And then also you can, if something happens with one or they need a boost or something, you can borrow from the other one to give to that one to kind of boost it up. And
now, if you have your hives, you have them in the same general area, or do you have them in two different locations?
Well, you can have them in different places. I've got 4 different bee yards, which I kind of put my eggs in different baskets. That way, then if something happens over here, then I've still got bees over here instead of putting them all together. But you could have them all together.
And how long have you been working with bees?
This is my, I think, my 11th or 12th year, somewhere in there.
So, again, but it's as Michelle mentioned, it grows rapidly, doesn't it?
It can. I at one point got up to 30 hives, and I declared myself insane, and I've now back down.
How big of an area? You're in Urbandale, is that correct?
I live in Urbandale, yes.
In Urbandale, and the hives are located?
I have some on Ag 1 ground in Urbandale, which is the only place in Urbandale that they're allowed. Most all the metro area and suburbs now allow them in suburbs, except for Urbandale and Waukee, and we're working with those city officials trying to get that.
So in the city
changed.
limits of those two cities, you can't have a hive?
Not in the residential area.
Not in
you
a
could
residential
on
area.
Ag 1 zoned or Ag 2 ground.
Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't just go out and grab a beehive.
Yeah,
and stick
check
it up
with
in
your
backyard.
Neighborhood.
Right,
And
yes.
the Honey Producers Association really plays a big part in all of our, just as a resource and helpful. I know you guys now you're really heavily involved.
Yes, we are.
With it. Talk about some of the things that you guys really do try to provide for people with.
Well, definitely information, and all of our pollinators are important. Not only our native pollinators, but honeybees, which were brought here by the early settlers. They're not native to America, but definitely all of our pollinators. And when you figure a third or more of your food needs pollinating, I mean, that's a pretty serious thing,
right.
To keep that going. And then that's what we try to do is through education, have people educate people to understand how important these insects are, and then we provide all the information. We just had Governor Reynolds just declared February 27th is Iowa Honeybee Day, signed a proclamation. We had a meet and greet at the Capitol, and a lot of the cities also signed proclamations for that. Many of the metro areas did too. And so this is an educational thing that we do statewide, and then we have local clubs in areas that we work with bee classes and programs in the local area.
Do you find that a lot of the beekeepers that are getting started are doing it from just being able to raise them, environmental reasons, or a lot of them getting into it for honey and products, or is it kind of a mix?
I think it's a mix. A lot of people, we had a problem there 15 years ago where it brought a lot of national attention to what we called colony collapse disorder, which we lost thousands and thousands of hives, which brought a lot of attention nationwide to beekeeping, and we saw a very big influx of individuals like yourself and the Kenoyers and myself that finally decided, hey, we want to try to do something. So you got more of your backyard hobbyist beekeepers into the mix. And then our organization statewide, Iowa Honey Producers Association, probably is made up of 95% people like me and you and Keri. And then we do have commercial operators, but they make up a very small part of the overall.
How many bees are part of a colony for a person that just wants to have a couple of hives in their backyard?
If you've got one colony and it's got a nice, good queen in it, in the midsummer you could have 50, 60,000.
50 or 60,000
bees in that colony.
And,
yes.
and let's just be real point blank here. How dangerous is it to have this many bees in your backyard?
You wouldn't even know they was there
wouldn't even
unless you
know
saw it.
No.
You would have a hive in your backyard. Your neighbor wouldn't even know they was there unless they saw it.
Seriously.
Seriously.
Okay.
And then you, Eric kind of handles all of the actual logistics in the
handles
bee
the
yard.
apiary.
And then
Yep.
you've gotten involved with the products that are associated
Yes.
with it. Kind of talk a little bit about and kind of the whole family. Your boys get involved, and it's a great family.
When we can talk them into it, yes,
Yeah,
they do get
well,
involved.
teenagers.
But yeah, so like during our journey, getting into the honey and whatnot, I kind of learned more about like the benefits of beeswax, the more depth and benefits of the honey and things like that. So I started dabbling on making candles and making salves and making butters and lip balms and all that kind of fun
Yeah,
stuff.
and there's a great demand for those types
There
of
is.
products too. So
Now, if people wanted to get some of your products, how can they get a hold of your products?
Right now we're doing word of mouth, or we are on Facebook. Kenoyer Farms is on Facebook. I'm looking at doing maybe a couple farmers markets this summer, maybe in Norwalk and the Van Meter area where we're from.
And the Honey Producers Association, they also are a great resource for connecting people to
Yes.
the different beekeepers and their products. Talk about this year is, I have friends that have bees on order, but they may not get them. It's kind of a tough year
Oh,
for,
really?
for bees.
It is. We've had a lot of losses. Generally speaking, in Iowa, we're somewhere in that 40% loss every year. And the vast several years this year, I think it's going to be more than that. And there's a lot of different factors involved with that. But yeah, and then most of your package bees, if you're going to get started, most of that comes out of California because they usually can get started earlier, so we can get our bees early and get them started. This year, it sounds like their weather is, as far as their mating queens, has been delayed, and some of the people that have ordered packages probably are not going to get them.
Okay, Doyle, real quick, we're just want to. What does it cost to get a hive started? Just a ballpark figure.
Ballpark figure, bees and equipment, you're looking at, I'm going to guess, in somewhere in the $500 to $600.
Okay, that's what we're looking for.
And so it may not be the best year for somebody to be starting out, but if when you do decide or want to get started in
I would
it,
join some clubs.
Yeah, take a
start,
beekeeping
start
class.
Use this
networking
year to
with,
learn
with
about 'em.
beekeepers.
Learn about
and-
them,
Yep.
shadow a beekeeper if you can, which would be great. And then
How
you
can they
learn
get a
something.
hold of you, Doyle?
I'm a District 4 Director of the Iowa Honey Producers Association. My information is on our website, and they can definitely get there and go under the Director section. I'm a District 4 Director.
That works.
thank you guys very much. And what I love about it is just how helpful everybody is. You guys are so generous with your time and making sure everybody, I know Eric goes out and educating people and helping those that are getting started so that everybody is successful with it. And I love that. So thank you very much.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Doyle, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
everything you do
Yes,
for the
thank you.
environment
Thanks
and
for
everything you do for the
coming.
bees.
Appreciate it.
Okay.